everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Shine a Light series. I'm B.
And I'm Chloe, and today we are here with a very special guest.
The fabulous, the wonderful, the amazing, the one and only David Thompson, everyone.
Oh, guys, thank you. This feels weird, because I normally sit in that seat.
I know, we wanted to get you here in the hot seat, ask the questions, make sure that you got your time to shine a light on who David Thompson is. So we're happy to have you here today and ask you a few questions.
Go on, fire away.
We hope you have the answers to.
Yeah.
I'll try my best.
We won't trip you up.
All right, I'll try my best.
So I guess everyone, well, most people are going to know you, but for those who don't know you, can you just tell us a bit more about who you are and what your role in Samsung is? Because I think it will be really great for people to hear more about the guy behind the BlackProfessionals Group.
So I'm David DT Thompson. I have been with Samsung for just shy of 11 and a half years. So I've been here for a very long time. I started off at Samsung. I was actually a trainer. So I worked my way up from a trainer to a training manager, used to look after content. And then I became head of training a couple of years ago. And that's what my role has been. Me as an individual, I was born and raised in Ladbroke Grove, Latimer Road, to be precise.
Nice.
So I've still got a lot of friends, family that lived around that area. I was actually born in St Mary's Hospital in Paddington. And I consider myself a West London boy because I lived there until I was about 11 years old. And then from there moved to Harlesden. So if anybody knows Harlesden as an area, and I stayed there until about the age of 23, and then bought my own place from Norfolk now into Buckinghamshire. So
amazing.
So that's a bit about me.
Quite a journey there, DT.
Yes.
So I think there's so much that we'd want to talk to you about, but I'd love to start by picking apart your career progression at Samsung. So I think if you could tell us more about your journey, and one thing I really want to ask, which I think a lot of people are interested in, is just tell us more about what advice you would give to your younger self. You've been at Samsung for such a long time, so if you could rewind and look back, what advice would you tell yourself?
Oh,
Very good question indeed. Very good question.
Wow. I mean, I think so. When I first started at Samsung as a trainer, I always saw myself and I always wanted to find myself in a company that was well established. So before then, I used to work for Nokia. So I've always been in the mobile industry. Before that, I used to work for another mobile manufacturer, which doesn't exist anymore. And I found every 6 years, I'd always go into a new position. And when I moved to Samsung the first time, and you guys would have probably seen this on episode 3 when we had Ryan in, where I had a conversation with Ryan and I saw myself in him because he was at Samsung at the time. And I said, that's what I really want to aspire to be and look into. And so I found representation in that sort of sense. So at that point, when I moved over to the brand, I didn't understand how things worked properly. And it took me probably say 2-3 months to really settle in, to say, actually, I could see myself having a future here. And I've progressed and worked my way through. And I think if I was to say something to my younger self, there were points in times in my Samsung career I gave up. Didn't want to be here. I thought, do you know what? I don't see myself here anymore. And it took me a while to really kick into gear, at least a couple of months to kick back into gear to say, no, I'm going to prove a point. So I think to a question to my younger self would be, when the chips are down, don't ever give up. Don't take 2-3 months in this lull. And the reason why I probably had that lull is because I didn't really have anybody to speak to about the experiences that I was having.
Of course, yeah.
So I think that's one thing I would definitely say for myself, is to say, if you have that lull, deal with it, get on with it, and then really prove people wrong.
That's a really interesting perspective, and I think it's important to have that mindset, like you say, when you do face challenges, and it does happen at Samsung, it does happen in life generally, so it's always important to know how to bounce back. So I guess in the last sort of 18 months or so, what was something that you would say inspired you or drove you to bounce back? Because I know it was a challenging year for all of us. So what was that experience like for you?
It was, and we've both had conversations with you both around this, and then the last 18 months I think was a real big eye-opener for me, to say that we're in a position where there's loads of things happening, loads of trauma and turmoil happening across the world. And I looked around and I thought, who can I speak to have a conversation with? And it wasn't a conversation that I was having about myself, it was about the situation. And there were points where I can actually say, actually, I really wanted to have a conversation where somebody asks me, am I okay? And sometimes you never really get that. So the person I am, I'm always a person that I look after everybody else. I want to make sure everybody else is right without even anybody turning around and saying, D, are you okay? Which I'm okay with, to be honest, because at the end of the day, I look at my position as one where I look after the training team. So I'm responsible for nearly 50 people. I need to make sure that I'm performing at my best ability. But even when the chips are down, sometimes you do need to step away and say, actually, things are not right. And being able to have that open and honest conversation puts you in a much better place.
So with all that in mind, what was the turning point for you last year or coming into this year? And what was a sort of a moment where you said, okay, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I can see where we're going forward from this.
I'll be honest with you, there was a lot of anger I had. The anger was stemmed from lack of support, lack of empathy, not from a brand point of view, but just some people around just didn't get it and didn't understand. And the turning point for me was a conversation that I had with a lady that we all know, who will probably watch this episode and kill me for speaking her name. But her name is Natalie, and she works in our HR division. And we had a conversation, and she said to me, "Dee, we really need to do some more here. What can you do? What can we do to support?"
Yeah.
And I think I referenced it on your episodes, Chloe, where I'd come off the phone with her, and I'm at home at the time because we was obviously in lockdown, and I broke down in tears. My wife and kids are inside the house. They've not seen it, but I broke down in tears. And the reason why I did that, because I finally had the opportunity where somebody said, Dee, this isn't okay. Here's where we can support you. What can you do? What can we do? And we had a conversation for a solid 2 hours on the phone about it at the time. And then I then got a call from our corporate vice president as well. And even he was open to say, Dee, I really want to help. What can we do? And I think that spurred me on from having an anger to then moving that anger into passion to say, actually, no, things ain't right. And I want to support not just me, but I want to support you too. I want to support all of the other Black professionals that we have in our group.
Of course, yeah.
To make sure that if I ever throw that white flag up and say it's time for me to leave, I want to be in a position where we're in a good place from a brand point of view to take care of people.
Of course.
And I think it's great that passion has now led to the pair of you creating this safe space at Black Professionals. So I'd love for you to tell everyone more about the group and I guess what your long-term vision is for the group.
I think the group was founded off the back of a conversation that me and B had, and we both said we want to do more. It's an opportunity for us to do more. We just didn't know what that more was. And we sat down and we had various conversations around what can we do to elevate people even more, and that's where Shine a Light then became a thing. And that was something that we only started to really drive from probably the end of August, and that's where we're in a position now where we're on our 5th and final episode, and we've driven that the right way. I think what this platform has allowed us to do, and especially the fact that we was able to present our work in what we call the town hall, which is an internal meeting for all Samsung employees, it gave us the sense of belonging. For me, it definitely did. For B, 100%, I know it did. And I think from that moment, we said, right, now this is an opportunity for us. I think the Black Professionals Group is a group that isn't just open for Black employees, and I want to get that straight to everybody.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity for people to understand, learn, and educate themselves on the things that happen on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I was talking to friends of ours a couple of days ago, and they sent me a meme, and the meme was, can you ever tell me your experience of going to a nightclub where things haven't gone right? And sometimes that happens, being a Black man walking into a nightclub and they turn around and say, not tonight, lads.
Yeah.
And those sort of things do happen. And it's about how can we tell people of our experiences to put a marker on it so people understand what we go through, but at the same time saying, actually, that's not the reason why we're here. We're not here to tell you these are all the bad things that have happened to us. Actually, we're here to tell you these are all the great things that we can offer you as a brand and as a culture and as a manufacturer, to make people open up their eyes and say, if they hopefully watch these series and they can sit down and be inspired to say, do you know what? I would love to work for a brand like that because we have representation. And I think that's the biggest marker that I think we can do, and the biggest achievement is get people to say, do you know what? I feel comfortable here.
For anyone that I guess isn't sure if they wanted to join the group but still wanted to be an active ally in their everyday work experience, what kind of, I guess, like, what's one tip that you would give to other employees to be an ally on an everyday basis?
Ask questions. I think it's very easy to shy away from an uncomfortable conversation. And the only reason why a conversation will be uncomfortable is if you're not really here to hear the answer that somebody might give you. So have the conversation and be in a position where you can ask those questions to learn. There's various people that have reached out to me to say, I want to learn more, I want to help, I want to support, but I don't know how. Yeah. Actually, that's the first step. I'm okay with that.
That's an important step.
That's a very, very important step. And if people are brave enough to do that and brave enough to hear people's experiences and learn about our cultures, then I think it's great. I mean, you touched upon in your episode B around, we're talking about Nigerian jollof versus Ghanaian jollof. People may not know that there are different types, right? Yeah. But actually, hopefully with this platform, it can educate people to say that there are different types of foods and cultures that we have, that we celebrate when we get family and friends together. Absolutely. And that's something that we absolutely love. And everybody can be a part of this ERG. In order for you to do that, you just have to just reach out to us. Our email address is blackprofessionals@samsung.com.
That's blackprofessionals@samsung.com.
And that's a way that everybody can reach out to us to say, if you want to learn more, if you want to become a part of our forums, you do not have to be African or Caribbean to be a part of our forum. You just want to hear about our cultures and learn. And that's what Black Professionals is all about.
I love to just hear you speak so passionately about that, and almost bring that passion into a workspace that's beneficial for everyone. I know that another passion of yours is music.
Yes.
And you've mentioned in conversation that you was a DJ. So tell us more about your DJ life and what that was like.
Right. So a bit of a hidden. People know me from the DJ side, but I actually started out as an MC. Now, an MC in the garage era. So back in the late 90s, I'm showing my age here, but back in the late 90s, I was a part of a crew. I won't talk about the crew, but we used to go to clubs across the whole entire country to DJ. So I had one main DJ who is still DJing right now, and he is on Ministry of Sound, and he's doing so well. And Stefan, if you're watching this, mate, massive big up to you, bruv.
Amazing.
And we used to go out and do that. But then at the same time, I had a separate crew, which also used to MC, and then I was the DJ for them. So even though I was an MC for another crew, I was then a DJ for another crew, right? And that crew that I have, we are still brothers up to this day. So anybody that sees my Instagram and sees all my friends and family and stuff like that, you'll always know that that is a part of that collective. So I started there, and then I moved into DJing probably back in 2003, I think it was. And I've DJed across the world in various different places, from Dubai to Vegas to Miami to the Greek islands.
Amazing.
You name it, I've done it. I gave up DJing for the simple reason that I wanted to become a father. And one of the things that I had was I didn't have parents. I only had my mother. I didn't have a father, so I don't know him. But growing up and seeing my daughter for the very first time, I always thought to myself, I'm going to give her the life that I never had from a father's point of view. Yeah. So that was one of my main aims. Now, I couldn't juggle DJing and working at Samsung at the same time. It was very difficult because I used to do radio hosting and being on radio shows as well, and then DJing at night, then waking up in the morning, then going to work. It's very, very hard to juggle.
Schedule.
Yeah, and I commend Kadesh Beckford, who came on episode 2, to talk about what he does, and he still does it, and I love that in him because he's very passionate about that. But I wanted to give my girls the opportunity to spend time with their dad, which is myself, and so I decided to actually put the DJing down, put the headphones down. I still miss it badly. I still miss it. But if I was to turn back time and say, would I make a different decision? No, because I'm so proud of the girls that I've got.
Oh, that's amazing. That's such a beautiful.
Honestly, I'm not going to cry. I think just hearing you speak about the girls, I'm very close with my dad as well, and understanding the importance of Black fathers is just so important. So just to hear you speak so passionately is just it's really, really nice to hear. I guess I'd really love to know more about you, the girls, your relationship with the girls, and I guess how the importance of bringing up young Black women and kind of how you try and steer them in the right direction to, I guess, overcome any challenges that they might face that are related to either their gender as a woman or as a black woman as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's so for me, one of the things that I always said is when on Monday to Friday I work and work extensive hours, but I'll always make time and take time to spend time with my girls. And on the weekends is where we spend time, and Daddy is the crazy daddy. My wife Natalie, she always says to me, "God, you're always doing this and you're always doing that. You're always spending money here and spending money there." But I want to give them the opportunity to create memories.
Yeah, the memories,
and it's all about
experiences.
Exactly. It's all about creating memories. So for me, I would always make sure that we're going on holiday every single year, and when we go on holiday, the phone stays in a drawer. And we go out and be really silly and have so much fun. Apart from I don't like cold water. So if you ever go, I hate cold water, hate it. So if I'm going somewhere, at least the water's got to be warm. But no, I'm quite the goofy dad in that sort of way. And I always wanted to give them the things that I never had. And I'll give you an example of one was, for years, I always said to my wife that I want to take the girls to Disneyland. She was like, "No, I don't like those sort of things, don't like those sort of things, don't want to do it." I was like, "Okay, fine." I'm not saying my wife is moany, by the way. Let me just throw that out there. Let me just throw that out there. But so I always wanted to do that. And then eventually we saved up, took the girls to Disneyland, but we didn't tell them. And so we got them on a train from where we live, got them down to King's Cross, and we told them, right, we're going to Disneyland Paris. And their faces was an absolute picture, and I've still got it on my phone now.
That moment forever.
I remember
it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it's about, for me, for the girls, it's about creating those memories. So when they leave the house and they go and have their families, they remember the things that we did as a family. Yeah. And it's very difficult because I'm married to an English lady. I've got mixed race girls who in the world is seen as Black. And it's very hard for them to distinguish between when their dad is in turmoil and things that happened last year versus how they are on an individual basis. And I've always made sure, and my wife has made sure, that they understand both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
And that the culture's on both sides. Yeah. So whether it's musically or food or fashion or even the TV programs that we watch, that they understand that actually sometimes the world sees them as Black women, but actually they are really strong, independent, mixed race girls who I'm super proud of. And I can't thank them enough for allowing me to be father to them, but also how I know they're going to grow up into very, very creative girls. I've got one that's into art and design and animation. I've got another one that's into fashion, and I'm really, really proud of where they are, but they still need to do their education. They still need to do all of that.
Get your grades, go to school.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, hearing you speak about just, being a father and what it means to you and the experiences and memories that you want to create for your girls is absolutely, it's amazing, it's inspiring, it's heartwarming to hear. Like it's a beautiful thing. So thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Thank you.
For giving us that insight into who DT is behind the scenes and what he gets up to, the DJ and DT the father. Like we're really inspired and truly blessed and humbled that you've taken the time to be able to share these stories with us. So we're going to switch gears very quickly and ask a very few short fire questions. Okay. What should we start with?
So it has to be music related.
It's got to be. Top 5 tracks at the moment.
Ooh.
Yeah.
At the moment, Wale's just dropped a new album. I'm a massive hip hop fan. And the one with him and J. Cole, Stick It Out, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Love that track. Massive Amapiano fan.
Of course.
Booley, her name is. She's a South African artist. I'm loving all of her music at the moment. Snow Electra.
Okay.
I think Alexa.
Aguilera.
Thank you. Apologies, Snow.
I was with you.
Sorry.
You know what you meant.
Snow's album, I absolutely love. There's an artist that I've known from when I used to DJ more than 10 years ago, and he's dropped 2 albums in the last 2 years, and he only dropped an album a couple of weeks back. His name's Swindle, and he's an artist that's come from, I think it's Bristol or Bath he lives in at the moment, but he's doing very eclectic, soulful, jazz type, hip hop type, grime. Nice. It's beautiful music. And his album's just come out called The New World. So if you've not checked it out, I would 100% get everybody to check it out. And then last but definitely not least, I'm a massive Jay-Z fan, and a Busta Rhymes fan as well. I can go on for days, so I'm going to stop.
On the music point though, I know you said that you would when you used to MC, it was like in the garage kind of era. What's your favourite garage song of all time? If you could narrow it down to one.
That is a difficult question.
There's so many.
Right, okay. So, Ray Davis Jr., Gabrielle is one. Groove Chronicles, Stone Cold. And We Get Down. Classic tunes. Google it. Trust me. Classic tunes.
We'll take your word.
Might before my time, DT.
You trying to say? Those are my top three. Todd Edwards' Shut the Door is probably another one as well. But I'm a proper garage head. Proper.
Love that.
Perfect. And who would you say at the moment is someone, what inspirational Black figure are you looking towards at the moment as someone who, you know, inspires you and gives you a bit of an extra passion or a bit of extra for a push?
UK related or US?
Anywhere. Who's on your list?
UK related, there's a lady that just won an Emmy. Her name is Michaela Cole. She is a writer, a director, a producer. She won the Emmy for a show called I May Destroy You. And if nobody's watched it, I will encourage everybody
would recommend,
to watch it, because it's probably one of the most eye-opening shows and well-written shows that I've seen in a very, very long time. And she inspires me because she started from the ground up and she really wants to showcase her talent for how she operates within her art. And I think somebody like that is somebody that we should be shining a light on, even with series like this, to showcase to everybody that actually we do some really good things. But that's somebody I definitely look up to, for sure.
And I guess it wouldn't be right to not end on some Samsung questions. So, favourite Samsung product?
Favourite Samsung product, smartphone-wise, I started when the Note 2 first launched.
Wow.
That was years ago. So the Note 2, I loved. Recent phones, I'm absolutely loving the S21. I love the Fold product as well. But TVs, I'm a massive, I love watching TV, playing games and stuff like that. So,
what's your favourite TV?
The QLED, I've got a QLED 65-inch TV. I do like the Cero TVs, but I haven't got one yet.
It's a very nice one.
So I'll leave it there on that one.
Amazing. Well,
Perfect.
Thank you so much, DT. I think just your transparency into like your career and just you as DT outside of Samsung has just been amazing. So
absolutely.
Thank you so much for wrapping up the series today.
Thank you. And it's the last
It's the last of the series. Right? For now, I feel like we're going to bring it back.
To be continued.
To be continued.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've got a lot more episodes coming up very soon. We'll be going with season 2 with the women at Samsung. We'll be doing. We're also going to have a special show with True Ability. As well. So Woody with True Ability. So that's coming up. But before we go, I want to say a special thank you to a few people. I want to say a thank you to you, B, massively. Because you've been with us throughout this journey as well. To Chloe, who really set the bar high on that first episode.
Kicked it off strong, so strong.
Massive thank you to you as well. To Andrew and to Johnny as well behind the scenes, who have been with us throughout this whole entire journey. And without them, actually none of this can really happen. You know? So massive thank you to you gentlemen as well. And that's it.
And that's not it. And a massive thank you to you, DT, because amongst everything, you have, as much as you say I have been, you have been the driving force behind this. You've been inspiring us, getting us all together, getting us up in the morning, making sure we feel like excited and passionate about the work that we're doing here at Black Professionals. He's always working behind the scenes, sending me things, B, what do you think of this? Or what's your opinion on this? How can we get this together? So I massively appreciate you. And I'm really honoured to be working with you on our Black Professionals journey. So yeah, thank you so much for all that you're doing for us.
You got this. Next season. Can't wait.
Thanks, guys. It's been your girl B
and Chloe.
See you guys later.
See you later.
Thank you.